Page 21, Jesus' Priceless Treasure. Again, this is an E minor. Got one sharp. All the F's are sharp. Let's look at this. 4/4 time at the beginning in the right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you got this dotted rhythm going again, and the dotted rhythm is a couple of places there in the first line. But if you can get it, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then just watch these accidentals. Last measure, and the first line you got to come up. It's between phrases. Just lift up. 1 and 2, C sharp, D sharp. And then the next, this is the first measure. The second line, you're here, and then here. Try and connect the melody note. That's what we want to hear. And then lift up. Between it, it's a different phrase. Just lift up. And then there's a repeat sign there, so we would play those two lines again. But for now, let's go on. Come down here. Third measure, reach up. Actually, it's between phrases. You're going to lift up. There's no D sharp here. A sharp, C sharp. I didn't do it, they did it. It's in the music, it's right there. And then for the B, I use thumb on the B. They're saying they got a 1 there, that's what that means, is a thumb. And then lift up, it's the end of a phrase, and put 5th finger. And then if they want the D sharp, F sharp. Yeah. That's a little awkward fingering here, because then you got to slide off with your thumb. I would recommend to avoid that is instead of using 5th finger on the B's, use 3rd finger. I mean, your own thumb, you can go 3rd finger here, and then cross over and use 2 and 3 on the D sharp, F sharp. And then you can use thumb on the E. I think that works out much better. The left hand has the supporting harmony and all. Keep the left hand really soft. You have that E minor chord, it's a 1 chord, then 5/7 chord. The last measure, the quarter notes. Don't forget the F sharp. And then the second line, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Third line, you got to come up here. They're saying cross over here because they want you in this position and they want you to stay there. That's okay if you want. You don't have to. You could play the D's with 2nd finger if you wanted to. And then second measure, you just play the first note with 3rd finger and then move to play the 5/7 chord or play the G7 chord. And then next measure, 4th finger. And then they say cross over for the F sharp. And then 5/3/2 on the chord. And that chord at the bottom line, that is a B, D sharp, F sharp. And then you lift up, it's the end of a phrase. E major chord in there. We talked about this in the previous video. It's the keys in E minor, and many times they'll end it with the parallel major, which is an E major. Work out the fingerings for each hand and then try and put them together. We want to hear the melody. It's the top note, and at the beginning it says soft. That's the melody that's soft. When you get to the 3rd line, now you come up a little bit to medium loud. fermata in the last line there in the first measure, I'm going to hold that 4 counts instead of 2 because I'm playing with a metronome. If you're not playing with a metronome, you just hold it out as long as you think it feels right, and then you go on. about it. So then we just add a little bit of pedal. Don't need pedal, you can do it fine without it, but they added it in, so let's talk about it. Second line on the second measure is where they're using its overlapping pedal. It's here. If you push the notes down, then the pedal, and then change it. What we're really doing here is we're adding the overtones to the sound, because it starts simple. But then when you get to the second line here, now we're going to add the overtones. See, that sounds different, just adding the overtones, and that's apparently the effect they want. It's more of an effect than anything else, because you don't need the pedal really, but yeah, it adds it. And then if you go on to the last two lines, there's no pedal here, it's simple again. But then you get down to the last line, at the very end, again we're adding the overtones to the end of it. And then for the amen, we keep the overtones going. So it's a nice effect, but that's really all it's doing. Let's try this together very slowly. Now this is adagio, this is a slow piece, and we're going to take it slow, so that comes in handy, huh? So I'll give us 4 counts, and let's try it out. So your hands are in place, and your foot's on the pedal, and we're ready to go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. 4. 1, 2, 3. Repeat. 2, hold 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3,